Oh.
But yeah, we got a great show tonight. We're going to get into October's Halloween picks. These are films that Robert and I are recommending that you watch not only during the Halloween season through October, but year-round. They're pretty good. So, Robert, for the slash and gore genre category, what do you have for your number one?
I picked The Fly as my number one because 1986 version of The Fly, and I remember at the time it was a special effects fest, and it was people cringing, and now people I think are kind of more used to that stuff, but at the time it was a ooh, but I
Yeah,
loved it.
it was revolutionary too
Yeah,
with the effects. And is it Cronenberg
yeah.
directed that?
David Cronenberg directed it.
Mm-hmm.
Gina Davis, Jeff Goldblum.
And the effects too, with like the little spikes coming out of him.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah,
like it does its job. It's very creepy. And of course, the famous line, also the tagline is, and the title of this show, this episode is "Be afraid, be very afraid."
yes. Gina Davis has the perfect line delivery of that. So, but yeah, so that was my kind of number one when I thought about gore and slash. I'm like, I think of The Fly.
It's a great one. I picked for one of mine. My first one is Dawn of the Dead, of course, the 1978 one. I think out of all the George Romero originals and also the reboots and stuff or remakes, this is my favorite. It just has the right amount of capitalistic greed. In the late 70s,
Yeah.
they kind of make some statements. Tom Savini, of course, is in it and did the makeup, and it's just it's where it all started. Dawn of the Dead. It still holds up, and I do like the opening scene in Philadelphia with the SWAT team and stuff. It's perfect 70s. Like the gunshots are 30 times louder than they need to be, and they're all echoing.
Guns are louder in Philly.
Yeah, much louder, much louder. But do you know what I mean? In those
Yeah.
70s movies, like the Crazies and all that, the gunshots are like, like it's like a cannon for each shot because they didn't have like the sound mixing right.
Yeah. Well, you want to feel it,
You want to feel it does its job. Are you a Dawn of the Dead fan?
Yeah, I've not made the pilgrimage out there to go visit locations like many fans have. So, yeah, casual fan, but not a diehard fan.
Was is it the same mall in the Blues Brothers, or am I mistaken?
No, I think that's Chicago bound
Okay, because the Dawn of
locations.
the Dead Mall's Pittsburgh,
Yeah, Monroeville Mall.
Monroeville Mall.
Yep.
Okay, so Dawn of the Dead's a good one.
Yep.
What do you have for your next one, sir?
And this is more the slash, not the gore. Technically, a Texas Chainsaw Massacre and the set 1974 version. So,
Yeah,
obviously, when you do look back at that and the Halloweens, and or at Halloween one, they did not have that much gore, more implied, but very slashy.
yeah, and a great film too. Which is cool. When I first saw Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I was like early teenager. What I really liked about this movie was when you look at like the Friday the 13th and Michael Myers, a lot of it is like slow moving, kind of foreshadowing. Where this just comes running out with a chainsaw kind of thing. Like it's
Oh
very
yeah.
in your face. It jolts the senses. Not to mention
Yeah.
the wheelchair scene with the guy in the wheelchair, and I'm like, oh, they're
Frank
gonna let
Madden.
him die.
It was, well, he had the personality at some point. You're like, yeah, go ahead
It's time to
and
go.
take him. But I do highly recommend if you have not seen the original in the theater, it is a different experience.
Yeah, no, for sure. I haven't. I would love to do that.
You should. Yeah, I noticed more camera work and moves than I ever had before. So I
Pretty good.
recommend that. Yep.
Recommend that. I have Friday the 13th, the original from 1980, as a recommendation, more for the slash. This movie started it all with the whole, sleepaway camp, summer camp kind of thing that's been parodied and done and rebooted forever, but still holds up. Still a fun film. Ending, the last act might be like 10, 20 minutes too long with the
Mm.
chase where they end up here and there, but it gives you what you want. And you can't forget Kevin Bacon is in it too.
Kevin Bacon Fest. Mrs. Voorhees. Yeah, no, I think the ending is just probably right. I mean, the cat and mouse. That's what makes these movies, and as a fan, that's what I look forward to the most.
Right. Yeah. For sure. It's a good point. Um, I'm not familiar with your next one.
The Eyes of Laura Mars, and so I've seen this before, but I've just been recently revisiting it. So it's actually based on a screenplay by John Carpenter,
Oh,
and it stars Faye Dunaway, and it's a early seven. I mean, not early 70s, but late 70s typical um, stalking women type thing, but it has some interesting things where Laura Marr, Faye Dunaway plays a photographer, and she sees the killings happening in visions and stuff like that. And sure enough,
Cool.
eventually she becomes a target.
Oh, that's cool.
So
I should
it's
check it
streaming
out.
a lot. I would check it out and see what you think.
Is it? Because I think I watched the wrong movie. I watched The Eyes of Bruno Mars. It was a documentary
Darn
on
it.
eyeshadow.
Yes,
Yeah, it wasn't good.
you missed out. So, but yeah,
Uh,
check it out.
I will check it out. Eyes of Laura Mars. Scream. I have my next one.
Never
The
heard of it.
Never heard of it. What is this movie? It has something to do with
Oh, I'm sorry. Which Scream?
right. Scream. You
1996
need to be
or
more specific.
2022?
You need to be more specific.
Yeah,
Scream 6? Scream 5? Scream.
Scream.
Scream. I just watched this. It's still a fun movie. This obviously changed the game. It was a almost self-parodying horror film at the time, which was massive hit. Obviously, it spawned several sequels, but it's fun. And did you watch the trailer? We talked about this. You watched the new trailer for
The new
Scream?
trailer, yeah. It looks like it'll be interesting enough to. I'll go see it, of course,
Of
no
course.
matter what. Yeah.
Nev Campbell looks good.
Yeah. No.
Like she aged
She
well.
still looks there. She's kind of like the Amy Steele, where like you could act like oh, it's 5 years after Scream One. Or like, all right, I buy it. She looks the
Right, yeah,
same.
exactly. It's 5 years after Scream 1. What do you have for your next one, Sarah?
I have Inside, the 2007 original version. So I'm not
Hmm,
sure if you've heard that. So
I don't know.
it is there's a few films where I kind of close my eyes at some of the gore, and this is one of them. So
Oh no.
yeah, and disturbing, and I think it's a French film and they did remake it, and of course the American version is never quite as good. So
No.
uh, I recommend. I don't want to give anything away, but it's disturbing. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to give anything away either. I haven't seen it, but I'm looking at the Wikipedia page and
Yeah.
yikes. And if Robert's closing his eyes, I'm going to get the
Yeah.
fuck out of there. I'm not watching it. If it scares you, nope, not
Yeah.
doing it.
It's just like oof, but yeah. So
That's like me saying, Robert, that movie's a little too cheesy. I won't watch it
yeah.
because I'll watch anything. But if you're
Uh,
scared, no.
yeah, a little bit compared to your Gore Fest. That's next.
My my Gore Fest. This is more for the slasher, I guess. Friday the
I'm
13th,
kidding.
Part 3, 1982. I am biased towards this. This is my favorite Friday the 13th film. But yeah, it's a fun movie. It's the first movie, as you know, where Jason dons the hockey mask. It has some cool scenes. And also check out Robert's website at set-jetter.com at, set visits and look at Friday the 13th, Part 3. You did really good work on this. We talked about this before, but you nailed it from Bouquet Canyon to the Vela. I'm going to say it wrong. Ranch. You were,
Value saver. Yep.
yeah, you nailed it. And I'm not even going to plug your buddy, but there's supposed to be a video coming out, and I'm actually giving up on it. It wasn't shot. I should have been there, but for some reason, the legend has it there will be a video of Robert at the barn, which he was there. He has pictures, but somebody else should post this, and I'm waiting for this for about 3 months now.
Someday
But
we'll
yeah,
get
check
to
it out. Friday the 13th Part 3. It's obviously has its cheesiness and flaws, but it's
yeah.
fun.
It's a good Jason though too. I mean, who's kind of hulking and
Yeah,
creepy, and yeah.
totally. And
My
what do
next
you
one is Maniac, and this is the remake, the 2012 Elijah Wood version. So have you seen this one?
I want to say that I have.
Okay. So
Yeah.
also it's and it was one of those when they announced this remake, horror fans
Hmm.
were up in arms, like there's no way you could remake it, and they did a little bit of twist on it, and a lot of it is point of view of Elijah Wood, but I thought it was really well done. So
Maniac.
and
And the remake is from
scalping
the
is always
80s.
kind of creepy. Yeah,
What was creepy?
scalping anytime.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Scalp,
yeah. No, no, no.
that's just
Whether it's a movie
yeah.
or an Omaha fair that some girl gets,
Oof.
no, I don't want it. Next,
Yeah.
it's gross. I'm God forgive me. I'm touching my head now. I have
Oh,
Cabin in the Woods for Gore,
yes.
2011. It's a trope on prior, iconic horror movies. So, but it's an interesting take. I thought it was a fresh idea when it came out.
Yeah. No, I liked it. I feel like there should be more of them. Like I
Hmm.
felt like they could explore other ideas and stuff like that, or different. Not to turn it into a franchise of you pick different props and stuff like that, and that becomes true. But I like that idea.
Yeah, I do too. And it's Sigourney Weaver. Like, It gives you what you want to see, and scary too. And I like the build up of it, and they show like the governments around the world, and
Yeah.
it's a fresh idea. So check out The Cabin in the Woods. And for our last, we both have picked a similar one. What do we have for the last one on this
Event
list?
Horizon, 1997.
Sam Neill's second greatest role, third if you include Jurassic Park Part 3.
Three. I knew you were going to say that. So Event Horizon, I saw this in the theater, and I remember it was like this theater was like super cold, and which worked kind of for the
Oh
space type
yeah,
of thing. And I remember it's one of those that it was creepy, and I just remember being farther and farther down in my seat, and I think it was my sister went to the bathroom, and she's like, I don't know if I want to go back in there. Like, it was one of those intense movies. Now you see it, and there's like, oh, it's kind of whatever, but it's still a
right.
fun ride. Yeah.
It is a fun ride. Still holds up too. I just watched this not too long ago, and yeah, it works. It's a good movie. Give it a shot.
Yeah. So those are the good ones of slash and gore before we get to 2006.
Right. Those are the good movies. Those are what you're going to want to take away from the show. You can actually tune out now.